the most capable and lightest dual laser engraver in its class. A 2-in-1 powerhouse, featuring both a 20-watt fiber laser and a 20-watt diode laser. LP5 can engrave on almost all materials, from soft wood to rigid metal and everything in between. The built-in camera ensures highly accurate filling and consistent engraving results, ensuring highly accurate and consistent engraving results. Batch processing has never been easier, significantly enhancing your overall creation productivity. Available in both a safety enclosure version and a portable version. It delivers industrial-grade speed at 10,000 millimeters per second, coupled with incredible engraving capabilities. With deep engraving, 3D grayscale embossing, you can produce more intricate designs and patterns. Effortlessly manage your project with the Slate extension, which allows for a bigger engraving area to meet all your needs. And that's not all. LP5 also offers ultra-precise metal cutting. Cutting wood up to 20 millimeters thick, acrylic up to 15 millimeters, and metal up to 1 millimeter. Imagine the beautiful custom creations you can produce with this level of versatility and control. The LDS software is easy to use, yet richly feature-packed. You'll have a blast experimenting with captivating color engraving. And LP5 works with the LaserPecker air purifier, so you can breathe easy while you're bringing your creative visions to life. Irregular shapes? Yes. With a rotary extension, all kinds of shapes can be engraved easily and start monetizing your creativity. Weighing just 6.02 kilograms, it's an ideal companion for any creators. Magic happens on retail businesses. Elevate shopping experience and delight customers like never before. With 3 simple steps: design, preview, and engrave. LP5 allows shoppers to transform generic products into personalized masterpieces in the blink of an eye. With variable text feature, LP5 delivers dynamic content in batches at ease and saves your time from each repeated jobs. So why wait? Get your hands on the LaserPecker LP5 today. The smart 20-watt fiber and diode laser engraver that's here to redefine your creative journey. Introducing LaserPecker LP5, the most capable and lightest dual laser engraver in its class. A 2-in-1 powerhouse, featuring both a 20-watt fiber laser and a 20-watt diode laser. LP5 can engrave on almost all materials, from soft wood to rigid metal and everything in between. The built-in camera ensures highly accurate filling and consistent engraving results, ensuring highly accurate and consistent engraving results. Batch processing has never been easier, significantly enhancing your overall creation productivity. Available in both a safety enclosure version and a portable version. It delivers industrial-grade speed at 10,000 millimeters per second, coupled with incredible engraving capabilities. With deep engraving, 3D grayscale embossing, you can produce more intricate designs and patterns. Effortlessly manage your project with the Slate extension, which allows for a bigger engraving area to meet all your needs. And that's not all. LP5 also offers ultra-precise metal cutting. Cutting wood up to 20 millimeters thick, acrylic up to 15 millimeters, and metal up to 1 millimeter. Imagine the beautiful custom creations you can produce with this level of versatility and control. The LDS software is easy to use, yet richly feature-packed. You'll have a blast experimenting with captivating color engraving. And LP5 works with the LaserPecker air purifier, so you can breathe easy while you're bringing your creative visions to life. Irregular shapes? Yes. With a rotary extension, all kinds of shapes can be engraved easily and start monetizing your creativity. Weighing just 6.02 kilograms, it's an ideal companion for any creators. Magic happens on retail businesses. Elevate shopping experience and delight customers like never before. With 3 simple steps: design, preview, and engrave. LP5 allows shoppers to transform generic products into personalized masterpieces in the blink of an eye. With variable text feature, LP5 delivers dynamic content in batches at ease and saves your time from each repeated jobs. So why wait? Get your hands on the LaserPecker LP5 today, the smart 20-watt fiber and diode laser engraver that's here to redefine your creative journey. Introducing LaserPecker LP5, the most capable and lightest dual laser engraver in its class. A 2-in-1 powerhouse, featuring both a 20-watt fiber laser and a 20-watt diode laser. LP5 can engrave on almost all materials, from soft wood to rigid metal and everything in between. The built-in camera ensures highly accurate filling and consistent engraving results. Ensuring highly accurate and consistent engraving results. Batch processing has never been easier, significantly enhancing your overall creation productivity. Available in both a safety enclosure version and a portable version. It delivers industrial-grade speed at 10,000 millimeters per second, coupled with incredible engraving capabilities. With deep engraving, 3D grayscale embossing, you can produce more intricate designs and patterns. Effortlessly manage your project with the slide extension, which allows for a bigger engraving area to meet all your needs. And that's not all. LP5 also offers ultra-precise metal cutting. Cutting wood up to 20 millimeters thick, acrylic up to 15 millimeters, and metal up to 1 millimeter. Imagine the beautiful custom creations you can produce with this level of versatility and control. The LDS software is easy to use, yet richly feature-packed. You'll have a blast experimenting with captivating color engraving. And LP5 works with the LaserPecker air purifier, so you can breathe easy while you're bringing your creative visions to life. Irregular shapes? Yes. With a rotary extension, all kinds of shapes can be engraved easily and start monetizing your creativity. Weighing just 6.02 kilograms, it's an ideal companion for any creators. Magic happens on retail businesses. Elevate shopping experience and delight customers like never before. With 3 simple steps: design, preview, and engrave. LP5 allows shoppers to transform generic products into personalized masterpieces in the blink of an eye.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to LaserPecker CraftZone Studio. I'm the host, Rex. How's everybody doing? And today, we're going to have a special live stream, which is around Easter, because 2 days ago, or like 3 days later, we're going to have the Easter, right? And at this point, we still have the Easter sale that is still going on our official website, which is the laserpecker.net. And you will see the link in the description box. So if you do want to invest one of our LaserPecker machine, whether it's going to be LP1, all the way to LP5, now is the best time to take advantage because we do have the sale, we do have different kinds of activity, and we do have different contests on our website at this point. And as you guys can tell, we do have a special live stream in today's live. We're gonna have an Easter theme live stream. I'm gonna show you guys how to do different kinds of stuff based around the Easters. So from the comment section, I see some familiar faces. For example, I see Travel Diva and B-Nail, and also hello, Mars B-Red. What is up, guys? How you guys doing? And in today's live, we're gonna have different kinds of stuff, like I mentioned earlier. And before we jump into the content today, let me introduce what we got here today for you guys. So we're gonna have 3 sections, just like before. For the first section, we're gonna have 3 different kinds of project. For the project number 1, I'm gonna show you guys how to do one of these, which is the wooden eggs material that is recently launched on our website. So it's made out of the wood, but it's in the shape of an egg. So you can find this material on our website, and the link is gonna be in the description box. And I'm gonna use the LP5, which is the LaserPecker LP5 with the Rotary extensions right here, and show you guys how to use this accessory and with the LP5 to do a design on those wooden eggs. As you guys can see, we do have some samples right here, which is previous engraved with the LP5 and LP4 as well. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do those eggs. So that's gonna be the project number 1. And then moving forward, guys, for the project number 2, as you guys can see, I do have some business card right here, which is made out of the aluminum, all right? So it is metal business card. And I'm gonna show you guys how you can use the LaserPecker LP5 to cut through those metals. Because from last live stream, I remember during the Q&A session, we do have some comments and some of our viewers asking, hey, can you show us how to do like a laser cutting on metal with the LP5? No problem. In today's live, I'm going to show you how LaserPecker LP5 is capable of cutting through some metals. I'm going to show you guys how you can cut through some bunny shape, and also you can do some like bookmarks, those kind of stuff. And we got different kinds of files on CraftZone that is free to download. All you have to do is go to the description box and join CraftZone, and you will see different kinds of tutorials and also files that is free for download, all right? So that's the project number 2. And last but not least, as you guys can see in the title of today's slide, we call it 3D Easter Bunny, all right? Because I'm gonna show you guys how you can actually use those slack coasters, and also we have some brass coin right here, if you guys can see it, right this area. So I'm gonna show you guys how you can use the flash drive, which is when you purchase the LP5, it comes with a flash drive, right? And I'm going to show you guys how to use the flash drive to do a 3D grayscale embossing and also deep engraving with the LP5. Because normally, a lot of people, they use their laptop with the machine to do the 3D grayscale embossing, right? But there's a better way, which is the flash drive, and there are 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is more stable, because all you have to do is plug in a flash drive into the LP5 and use your cell phone to give you the command, then it's gonna start working. And the reason number 2 is you don't have to have a laptop right beside your machine, because sometimes, 3D grayscale embossing is normally gonna take some time, right? And if you accidentally, your PC or your laptop goes to sleep mode, the engraving process might stop. But with the flash drive, you don't have to worry about it, and you don't have a device like cell phone or PC right around with the LaserPecker engraving machines. All you need is one flash drive. So for the project number 3, I'm gonna give you guys a demo of how you can do that. And plus, I prepared some of the engraving settings, parameters for different materials when it comes to 3D grayscale embossing or deep engraving, all right? So that's pretty much for the 3 projects for today's live. All right, hello, Joe. And what is up, guys? And moving forward to the second part of today's live, we're gonna have some infos I wanna share with y'all, because at this point, we still have the Easter sale, and we not only have discounts, we also have like cashback, and also in spin and win activity, different kinds of stuff. And plus, on CraftZone, we still have the Easter CraftZone Creative Contest. And we have a lot of different kinds of prize prepared for you guys. And one of y'all gonna win the $300 value LaserPecker gift card. So one of y'all gonna win those prize, and I'm gonna dive into detail later. And last but not least, in today's slide, we're still gonna have the lucky draws, guys. So we're gonna have 3 rounds of lucky draw. For the first round of the lucky draw, we're gonna have 1 viewer, and this viewer can receive 1 pack of those wooden eggs, which is the newest, latest materials we got on our website. And moving forward for the second round of the lucky draw, we still gonna have 1 more winner to receive the prize. And then last but not least, for the third round of today's lucky draw, which is the last round of today's lucky draw, we're gonna have 1 viewer to receive the Rotary extension I used in today's live, and 1 of y'all gonna receive this as a gift from today's live stream. All right, so stay tuned and join us. We're gonna have 3 viewers to win the prize in today's live. All right, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. For our first project, like I mentioned, I'm gonna show y'all how to do those eggs. So before we start, here's what you need. You need 1 laser module. Of course, the Rotary extension is compatible with LP4, LP5, and LX1. And in this demo, I'm gonna use the LaserPecker LP5. So basically, you need a laser module, right? The protective cover for your safety. Excuse me. And then you're gonna need the Rotary extensions. So first of all, I'm gonna use this egg and place right on top of the Rotary extensions. So first of all, I'm gonna place this egg right onto a Rotary extensions. And I'm gonna secure the Rotary chuck right there. So as you guys can see, in this case, I'm using the stud component. When you first receive the Rotary extensions, it comes with 3 different kinds of components, right? This one is stud component, and you got single step jaws, double step jaws. Is all compatible with different kind of material and also different kind of parameters. But in this case, I'm gonna use this stud component and hold it at the base, as you guys can see. I'm holding the egg at the base because in this way, I'm gonna have more engraving area that I can work with, right? If you hold it in the middle, you don't have too much of engraving area. And this time, I'm gonna hold it right at the base. And before we place the material, I mean, a Rotary extension on the base plate, here's something you always wanna do before. Whenever you wanna use a Rotary extension, you have to measure the diameter of your materials. So what I got here, I got a caliper. You guys can use this, or you guys can use a measuring tape. Depends on what you got, right? So what I'm gonna do is pretty much measure the diameter of this egg right here. So it's pretty much around like 40, I would say. Like 40.9, if you guys can see it. So this is the diameter of this egg. So please keep this in mind, because we're gonna type in this number into our LDS, which is the software. So 40. And then I'm gonna raise up the electric stand. I'm gonna place the Rotary extension right underneath the cover. And don't forget to plug in the cable in the back. And make sure the egg is securely tightened right on the top. And then just simply place the Rotary extension right on the base plate. Let me remove this. I'm gonna put it on afterwards. And now let's move back to the LDS. So first of all, of course, you wanna connect your laser model to the LDS, right? So as you guys can see, it is the LaserPecker LP5. And then I need the file, right? I'm gonna go with open project. Nope, I actually got the file right here. So I'm gonna go with this one. Yeah, so if you guys do want a file, you can find a file in the CraftZone like I mentioned earlier. As you guys can see, we do have 3 different kinds of elements in this file. So in this case, I'm gonna use this one, the Happy Easter, right? And before we start do anything, any engraving settings, you have to go to the setting first, and then go to mod settings, and make sure you enable the Rotary extensions feature right here. So click on this one. So, and also you guys can see the device information, and there's an arrow right here. Click on arrow. You can see the Rotary extension is successfully activated, right? And then you have to type in the diameter right here. So as you guys can see, it's like 40.9. And then you're gonna set up the size of your file, right? Depending on what's the size of your material. So in this case, I'm gonna go with 20 millimeters for the width. And I want to align this to the left. And you can also adjust the position by adjust the X and Y value. So I'm gonna go with, let's say 4. And you can also zoom in a little bit more to see your files right here. And then let's go to the laser engraving settings. Since it's wood, I'm gonna go with dial laser, which is the 450 for the laser source, and I'm gonna go with only 1K for the resolutions. So the higher you go for the resolution, you will have a much more detailed results for your image. But keep in mind, though, it also is gonna be take a little bit longer. So the higher you go with those resolutions, the more detailed you be, and the much longer time it's gonna take. All right. So I'm gonna go with 35% for the power, 55% for the depth. And only one pass is needed. And also, if you're using the LP4, we do have the file and also the settings for LP4 on CraftZone as well. So if you're interested, don't forget to check out CraftZone and join CraftZone. We got all kinds of tutorials on the website. So once you're ready, click on the file and go preview. And in this step, what you need is you need something thin material. At this point, I'm gonna use this card right here. As you guys can see, I got a very thin aluminum business card. It's gonna help me to determine where is the focal distance. So at this point, you have to adjust your focal length, right? So I'm gonna lower the sand. And then I'm gonna place this card right on top of the egg, right on the surface of the egg. As you guys can see, at this point, we do have two things in your screen, right? You can see a blue line right here and also 2 red dots on the top. So once those 2 red dots overlap, it is become one. It is the correct focal distance, all right? So this method is gonna help you to determine where is the focal distance. Because sometimes, as you guys can see, like this egg, it's not a flat surface, right? So the red dots right here, so it's gonna hard for you to determine where it's gonna be the correct focal distance. So in this case, you can use some materials like this and help you to find a focal distance. So once we find a correct focal distance, I'm gonna adjust the position of the blue line, because in that way, it's gonna help me to determine where is the engraving area. So you can adjust by click the X and Y value and make sure the blue line is placed exactly where you want it to be. So I'm gonna a little bit more. So there we go. As you guys can see, the blue line right here is right on top of the egg. And I'm gonna go ahead and click continue. If you guys can see, the egg start to rotate, right? So that is your engraving area. So it depends on where you wanna do the engraving. You can always click continue and see where exactly is the engraving area. So once everything is set up, I'm gonna put back the front cover and hit next to start the engraving process. And just hit confirm. So for this kind of materials and this kind of file, this kind of design is only gonna take a couple minutes or 1 to 2 minutes. It depends on how big you want it to be for your engraving files. And also for this one, you can, for the egg, you don't have to do the rotate. You can actually place the egg on a rotary extension. But if you go, you don't have to enable the rotary extension and just do a regular engraving, like it's a blue rectangle boxes, right? And you can engraving on one side. So in that way, you don't have to enable a rotary extension. And also on CraftZone, we also have the file like a go a 360 degrees for those eggs. So you're gonna have a 360 degrees kind of design. So let me show you, we do have some samples right here. And also we're already finished with the design. So let me pop off the lid and raise up the stand. I'm gonna remove the rotary extensions. So as you guys can see, this one right here is what we just did. Right, well, I just engraving on one side of the egg, this one, and also I do have the 360 engraved, which is this one. Oh, it's upside down. This one, right? So two different kind of file and 2 different kinds of design. You guys can choose what kind of design you want to go with, and also we do have the file on our website as well. So today these are just some examples of what you can do with these eggs, and also how you use the rotary extension with the LaserPecker LP5. So since we're pretty done for the rotary extension, I'm gonna unplug the cable and place on the side. And that's pretty much it for the first project, guys. The whole point is I want to show you guys how you can use the Rotary extension with different kind of file and to do different kind of project. And also we do have these new materials on our website. If you're interested in those materials, you can go to our website and you can find our official website, which the link is going to be in the description box. So that's pretty much it for the first project. We're going to have the first round of the lucky draw in today's live. So for the first round of lucky draw, I'm going to have one of y'all to receive those eggs I just engraved. So it comes with 6 packs, and one of y'all going to receive those eggs for free. All right. So before we start, we're going to have 3 rules when it comes to lucky draw. If it is your first time coming our live stream, the rule number 1 is you have to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because as you guys can see, subscribe to our YouTube channel right there. And also rule number 2 is each viewer, I apologize, I just got started. Each viewer can only receive 1 prize per live stream. And rule number 3 is once I announce the keyword, you have to type in the keyword. In that way, our system will capture your name, and then you'll be joining our first round of lucky draw. All right, so those are the 3 rules. So for the keyword for the first round of the lucky draw, it's going to be Easter, which is EASTER. So please type in Easter in the chat, and let's see who will be the first round of lucky draw winner. I see a question from, I can see it's going too fast. Is that asking, is it really live? So for this kind of project, like I did for the first project, it's pretty fast because it's kind of like a small design, and it's not a big object, right? It's only a small egg, so it's only gonna take like 30 seconds to a minute. And if you do like a big tumblers, right? If you do like put a big tumblers on the Rotary extensions, and you do want to do like 360 degrees of engraving, of course, it's going to take much longer. And also, it depends on what kind of resolution you go with. Like I mentioned earlier, the higher you go with the resolution, the longer it's going to take. All right, I'm going to give you guys some more time, and we're going to have the winner for the first round of the lucky draw. So the keyword is Easter, and remember, in today's slide, we're going to have 3 rounds of lucky draw. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start. And the first round winner is going to be so congratulations for Hexotica. Congratulations. So please go ahead and email us at services@laserpecker.com to claim your prize and provide some of your info like a YouTube account, those kind of stuff. And one of our colleagues will get back to you and get ready for your prize. All right. So thank you for each one of y'all to join the first round of Lucky Draw. We're going to have 2 more rounds. All right. So without further ado, let's jumpstart with the second project of today's live. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to do a metal cutting with the LaserPecker LP5. And for some of y'all, if you guys curious, if you guys asking, only the LP5 we got here can do the metal cutting, all right? So because the LP5 is the most powerful one. So before we start, here's what you need. You need 1 cutting plate, as you guys can see right here. So if you guys see what I'm doing, I use some masking paper, and attach those business card right on the top. And the reason is because when you engrave metal, there's going to be heat, right? So the metal is going to move a little bit. So it's not going to stay exact the same place. So we want to make sure it's cutting out precisely and accurately. So that's why we use the masking paper and attach this business card right on top of the cutting plate to make sure we have a great outcome, all right? So I'm going to place this cutting plate right on top of the base plate. And let me remove the lid. And let's go back to the LDS. So I'm going to go with a new project. And in this case, I'm not going to use the Rotary extension. So I'm going to go to settings, go to mod settings, and make sure you close the Rotary extension. And also there's something I want to show y'all. So if you scroll down, make sure you enable the outline preview. So this is something we want to do in this design. It's also called the vector graphic, so which is this one. So make sure you enable the outline preview and close up. And I'm gonna go with the metal cutting file. So as you guys can see in the canvas, we have two elements for this file. So I'm gonna go with the first one. And like what we always did, we have to adjust the size depending on how big of your material and how big you want your object to be in the results, right? So for this one, I'm gonna go with 20, still 20 millimeters for the width. And then when you're trying to do cutting, I highly suggest you guys always align center your file, because in this way, you will have a better results when it comes to cutting. You have an even nice outline of the engraving or cuttings. And for this one, I'm gonna go with laser cutting settings. So since it's metal, you always wanna go with fiber laser, which is the 1064. Frequency, I'm gonna go with 26, and I'm gonna go with 98% for the power and 98% for the depths. So if you guys are new to lasers and you don't know what is laser frequency, so the range of the laser frequency is from 26 all the way up to 60. And some of you have been asking, what is the unit of the laser frequency? It's the kilohertz. So in this case, it's gonna be 26 kilohertz. So how you pick up the desire of the frequency? For example, when you're trying to do cutting with the fiber laser, which is normally like metal or acrylic, right? You always wanna go as low as 26. So the lower you go, it's much fittable for cutting materials like metals and acrylic. And if you do want to do like engrave, let's say black and white or daring image, like a photo, you want to go as high as to 60. So in that way, you will have a very detailed and nice looking results. So depending on what kind of file and what kind of outcome you want to go with for your project. So for this time, since I'm doing laser cutting, I'm going to go with 26 for the laser frequency, 98% for power, 98% for depth, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit preview. And then I'm gonna lower the stand. And if you guys can see, in this time, we're doing something a little bit different. All right, so those two red dots overlap. You can see we do have the preview here. That's why I enabled the outline preview, AKA the vector graphic. So in this case, you guys can see we do have the outline of this little rabbit or little bunny right here. It's not like your typical preview kind of stuff. So basically, typically, when you go preview, you will see a blue rectangle boxes, right? And also, but in this case, you can see the outline of a little rabbit right here, if you guys can see it. So this kind of features, so in this case, you can see we do have the outline of a little rabbit, and this feature helps you to see the exactly engraving area or cutting area of your project. Like let's say you do want to engrave a little rabbit, but you don't know where exactly it's gonna be. So because normally it's gonna be a preview in a blue rectangle. But if you enable the preview outline, which is the vector graphic, you can see the outline of your engraving area. And when you're using the software, which is the PC version of the LDS, you can use this feature with the LP5. But if you use the mobile app, which is the cell phone version, you can use with LP2, LP3, LP4, and LP5 as well. So different kinds of choice for you guys to choose. And also we do have a tutorial launch like a week ago, and we're gonna teach you how to do different kinds of file like black and white, daring image, and also vector graphics for different kinds of projects. Also, we do have tutorial, and I do know some of you guys request that to add the LP2 all the way to LP4 to the software, so we're still working on that. So once it's done, we'll let you guys know, all right? So then once it's set up, I'm gonna put back the front lid. And then I'm gonna plug in the fan and click on next. And to start the engraving, oops, I forgot to set it to twice, guys. So make sure you go to twice for this one. So I'm gonna go with 2 passes and 98% for the power, 98% for the depth, and there we go. So let me make sure, all right. And then put the front cover back and hit next to start the engraving process. So let me see from a comment. I'm wondering if you are used the LP5 enclosure with the base moving up and down, could you cut through something metal thicker, adjusting the height maybe manually with multiple passes? So it depends on how thick of the material is gonna be. So where normally we can cut through, for this one, it's gonna around like 0.1 to 0.3 millimeters, I guess, with the cutting material. So it's not gonna too thick. So if you use the safety enclosures, it's gonna cut through. So even though you don't have to manually adjust the height of the electric stand, and also if you use the safety enclosures for different kinds of cutting materials, you can also set up to different passes, and it's gonna cut through, right? As long as your material is not gonna be too thick in that case. And also, while we're waiting, guys, I wanna show you guys what we got during the Easter sale. So let's go back to our PC. And I wanna show you what we got during the Easter sale. So as you guys can see right here, the Easter sale is from April 7th to April 20th. So we still have a couple days for you guys to take this advantage. And as you guys can see, for during the Easter sale, you can actually save up to $950. And during the Easter sale, we have the limited time Easter deal awaits. For the first one, we're gonna have 10% of cashback. 10 winners will be selected, with winners announced on April 21st. And you also can have huge savings, like I mentioned earlier. You can save up to $950. And also we do have the 48 hours flash sale, limited time Easter, limited materials, first come, first serve. And also we do have this spin to win event, like I mentioned earlier. All you have to do is click on spin and win and type in your email address, and you do have the chance to win different kinds of prize. For example, we do have the 20% off and also 30% off, and all the way up to 50% off. And also you can get things like $100 off, $200 off, or even a free material pack. And if you scroll down, you can see we do have different kinds of discounts on different kind of machines. For example, for the LaserPecker LP2, which is the handheld version, right? So from LP2 all the way up to LP5, they are all handheld, but the LP2 is the smallest one. You can save out to $640 off, and the original price around for the LP2 is around $1,000, guys. And also we do have the Easter wooden eggs, like I showed you guys in the first project. And in this one, you can see with the Easter bunnies, you can purchase those rock coasters or like slack coasters as well. And you guys can see we do like a deep engraving and also 3D grayscale embossing with those slack coasters. And also on my left side, you guys can see some samples, which I'm gonna show you guys a little bit later. And also we do have the tier discounts on materials. You buy more, you can get more discounts. It's all the way up to 10% off and all the way up to 20% off. And also, like I mentioned earlier, contest on CraftZone. So if you go to the CraftZone, like I mentioned, the link is going to be in the description box. We do have this contest that is on the Easter theme. If you guys can see, when the Easter egg jumps, I'm not going to go through the whole contest. The most important is that any ideas related to bunnies, Easter eggs, and flowers are worthy of being put into the spring gift basket. So you can upload those projects related to bunnies, Easter eggs, or flowers. And here's the prize. We do have we're gonna have two groups of winners. For the how-to group, we're gonna have three kind of prize. For the first one is gonna be a surprise. We're gonna have the 3 winners to receive the web material packs, and each of the material pack is valued at $139. And for the second prize, we're gonna have 1 winner to receive the Power Pack Plus, and the Power Pack Plus is compatible all the way up to LP2, all the way up to LP5. So let's say you're always on the go. You like to take your laser engraver to a studio, your workplace, outside. You can use the Power Pack to power up your laser engraver. And last but not least is the first prize. We're gonna have the 1 winner to receive the grand prize in the how-to group. It's gonna be a $300 value LaserPecker gift card. So you can apply the gift card when your next purchase with LaserPecker. And then we're gonna have the inspiration group, which is gonna be 3 prizes as well. The third prize is gonna be 3 winners with 1,000 CraftZone seeds. So if you're new to CraftZone, it's basically a community for all LaserPecker users. Whenever you finish a task, like you upload a post, you will receive certain amount of seeds So once you accumulate to a certain amount of seeds, you can redeem for different kinds of discount code, and sometimes it's gonna be LaserPecker, merchandise, different kinds of stuff. And for the second prize, we're gonna have one winner with the material as well. And for the first prize, we're gonna have one winner with the $200 LaserPecker gift card. And we can see we do have the rules, how to enter this contest, timeline, and also judging criteria, those kind of stuff. So if you're interested, don't forget to hop on to the CraftZone to join the Easter Creative Contest, all right? And also, guys, for the LP5 during the Easter sale, we're gonna have the $400 discounts in this case. So during the Easters, you can save up to $400 compared to your typical price of the LP5. So if you do wanna invest one of these LaserPecker LP5, make sure you take advantage. I see a question like, I would like to know Rotary extension works on LP2. Like I mentioned earlier, the Rotary extension is compatible with LP4, LP5, and LX1. So I hope that answer your questions. And while we're talking, guys, we're actually done with the cutting. So let me remove this from the base plate. So let me take off the masking paper. I'm gonna place this on the side, and I'm gonna pop this off. As you guys can see, for this one, we can cut clean through the shape of these bunnies here, if you guys can see it. Right here. So this is the cut we go through. It's a clean cut, and I also use the vector graphic to help me to determine where exactly is the cutting area. So as you guys can see it. So that's pretty much it. That's I want to show you guys how you can use the LaserPecker LP5 to cut through some metals on those business cards. And also you can do different kinds of design. On CraftZone, we do have files for like little butterflies and butterflies. So you can cut through some metal butterflies and fold it in half, and you can place them right on some flowers. So during like Mother's Day or Father's Day, or like you want to buy some flowers for your family, you can cut through some metals, some business cards. And also it comes with different colors. We got like yellow and blue, green, different kinds of colors. Place those butterflies on top of flower. It's gonna be a pretty cool design. It's gonna be, I think it's extraordinary during Mother's Day or when you want to buy some flowers for your friends and different kinds of stuff. So that's pretty much it for the second project. And then we're gonna have the second round of the lucky draw in today's live. So for the second round of the lucky draw, we're gonna have one winner as well. And with this winner gonna receive the wooden eggs for gifts. So rules is like what we have before. Rule number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Rule number two is each viewer can only receive one prize per live stream. And rule number three is once I announce the keyword, please type in the keyword in the chat. In that way, you'll successfully join the round of the lucky draw. So the keyword of this round of lucky draw is gonna be egg. So just type in EGG in the chat, and let's see who's gonna be the winner of the second round of the lucky draw. Very clean cut, no burn marks on the cut. Nice, thank you guys. So yeah, as you guys can see, there's no burn mark. So it's a clean through of the shape of bunny with the LP5. So we're gonna have one winner in this round of the lucky draw. So I'm gonna give you guys some time. And by the way, guys, at the end of today's live, we're gonna have a Q&A sessions. So if you guys do have questions on machines, on any kind of engraving project, materials, you can go ahead and ask us more questions during the Q&A session. All right, 10 more seconds, guys. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So the winner for the second round of the lucky draw is gonna be, it's us. So let's do it one more time. We just received our own prize, so we're gonna do it one more round. So please still go ahead and type in egg. And we're gonna see the winner. I hope this time it's not gonna be us again. Start? Just start. Go ahead. Go. And the winner is Jeanette. So congratulations, Jeanette. You just received those free materials. So please go ahead and contact us at services@laserpecker.com. And as I remember, you did win a lot of prizes from our live stream, right? This is definitely not your first time. So congratulations, winner. And we're gonna have the third round lucky draw as well, but after I finish with the third project. So for the third one, for the last project of today's live, I'm gonna show y'all how you can use the flash drive, which is what I got here, to do like 3D grayscale embossing and also deep engraving with the LaserPecker LP5. And keep in mind, guys, only LP5 can do 3D grayscale embossing and deep engraving, because the LP5 is the most powerful laser engraver we got currently. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, of course, I wanna plug in the flash drive into my laptop. And then let's go back to the LDS. So I'm gonna go with a new project. So for example, I'm gonna go with the Easter Bunny, like you guys can see on our website. So for this one, so let's say I wanna do a 3D grayscale embossing on this file, and I wanna do it with the flash drive. So here's what we're gonna do. First of all, I'm gonna go to Effect. And of course, I'm gonna go with the 3D grayscale embossing, which is the last one right here. And right here, you can see the number of layers, all right? So the range of the layers is gonna be from 0 all the way up to 254. So the higher you go with the layer, the deeper it's gonna go, right? So you can adjust how many layers you wanna go with. And typically, we wanna go with from 0 and all the way up to 254. And also, the more layers you go, the longer it's gonna take. So sometimes if you don't wanna go, the engrave is gonna be too long, you can lower the range. Let's say you wanna start with the 77 and all the way up to 225, 254. Depends on how many layers you wanna go, but typically we're gonna go with the default settings. And right here, you can see you do have two different kinds of options: concave engraving and convex engraving. So here's the difference. For the concave engraving, the engraved design that is indented relative to the surface of a surrounding. And for the convex, is the engraved design is raised above the surrounding of the engraving area. So it depends on what kind of design and what kind of effect you want it to be when it comes to 3D grayscale embossing, so you can choose different kind of effect. So for this one, I'm gonna go with, let's say, just go with convex, all right? And that's the effect settings for the 3D grayscale embossing. And then let's go to the laser engraving settings. So the resolution has a very great impact when it comes to 3D grayscale embossing. The higher you go with the resolution, the more detail you will see in the final results. But keep in mind though, the higher you go with resolutions, the longer it's gonna take, especially when it comes to 3D grayscale embossing. It's gonna take much longer. For example, when you try to do 3D grayscale embossing on brass coin, it's gonna be like 3 millimeters thick. It's roughly around like 4 to 6 hours, sometimes even longer, depends on how deep you wanna go and how sophisticated of your file is. So remember, higher you go with the resolutions, longer it's gonna take, but much more detail it will be in the result. So normally we're gonna go with 2K or 4K. And for the laser source, if you do want to do 3D grayscale embossing on slack coasters and also the brass coin, of course you want to go with the fiber laser, all right? And for the frequency and also the power depths, it depends on what kind of material you go with. So I'm gonna get into that part later. So let's go with the layer previewing first. So the layer previewing feature right here is help you to determine what it's like at a certain amount of layers. For example, I'm gonna go with 100. For this one. For example, this image right here is what it looks like on the final products when it comes to engrave 100 layers. So you can adjust the layer previewing to see how exactly it looks like, right? So this is how it looks like at layer 27 and this is what it likes on layer 155. So you can determine what kind of project, how it looks like on layer previewing, and you can go back to adjust the number of layers. So you guys see what I'm saying right here? You can use layer previewing a certain amount of layers, and then you can adjust the range of your number of layers. So in that way, you will see what exactly it looks like. So these features is pretty much help you to see what it's going to be look like for your final project. So that's what the laser previewing do. And then for the laser height, so typically we always go with 0.01, which 0.01 for the layer height, whether it's gonna be like slack coasters, 3D, brass coins, those kind of stuff. We typically go with 0.01. And then for the settings, guys, for example, for brass coin, as you guys can see, we do have some brass coin right there, and I'm gonna show you guys in a little bit later. For the brass coin, the typical engraving settings I'm gonna go with is gonna be 1064, and which is fiber laser, 2K for the resolutions, and also I'm gonna go with 100% for the power and 60% for the depths. So this is the settings when you want to do a 3D grayscale embossing on brass coin, typically though. And then if you guys do want to do like a 3D grayscale embossing on slack coasters, like what I got here, you can go with still, I'm going to go with 4K and fiber lasers, 100% for power, but 20% for the depths. And for frequency, I'm going to go with 30. So this is the typical settings when you're trying to do the 3D grayscale embossings on slack coasters. So two different kinds of settings depends on what kinds of material you're using for 3D grayscale embossing, right? So let's say this is a setting I'm gonna go with. No, I'm gonna go with this one because I'm gonna show you guys with the brass coin. So I'm gonna go with 2K and 26, and that's it. So that's what I'm gonna do. But before we do anything, guys, when you use the flash drive, and also your cell phone, you can adjust the settings and you can adjust the previewing, those kind of stuff. So you have to set up everything on your PC first, then save it to a flash drive, plug in your flash drive into the LP5, then use your cell phone to give LP5 the command to start the lasering process. So make sure to set up everything on a PC first. So here's I'm gonna tip I want to show you guys. In this case, let's say I want to use this brass coin. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm gonna use this brass coin for 3D grayscale embossing. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I want to use a measuring tape, a ruler, or a caliper to measure the diameter of this. So for this one, it's gonna be around 39. So it's gonna be 39 for this brass coin. All right. So I want to do a 3D grayscale embossing on the brass coin right here. So let's go back to LDS. So I'm gonna roughly set this file to, let's say 38, just roughly. And then I still wanna use the preview feature, the outline preview, so make sure you enable these features. And then I'm gonna go to the line here. I wanna go with a circle. So since it's 39, right? So I'm gonna go with 39 for the width and 39 for the height. So in this case, we're gonna have a circle right here. And then you want to align your file in the center and also align a circle right here as well. So as you guys can see, in the center of the canvas, we have two elements right now. The file we wanna engrave, which is the Easter bunny, and also we have the circles, the orange circles right here. So you can also adjust the position a little bit more. Let's say if it is not you're in the center, you can adjust a little bit more, and also you can adjust the size of the circles by unlock right here, and you can type in the size of your material. So you can, in this case, I'm gonna go with brass coins, so that's why I'm gonna use a circle. And also, but if you're engraving all those like coasters, rectangle coasters, you don't have to do this because it is previewed in a rectangle, right? But in this case, it's a round shape. That's why I use the preview features. So let's say I'm going to align centers, and also for this one, and then I'm going to hide this one. All right, I'm going to hide the original file. You guys can go to a normal layer, and if you guys can see, there's an eye icon on the right side. So I'm going to click on this, click on the circle, and go ahead and preview. So let me open up the front lid. And I want to place the cutting plate. And then the brass coin. And make sure, guys, you adjust the electric stand. So in this case, if you guys can see it, we do have a circle previewing right on the cutting plate. So this method helps you to determine where exactly is the engraving area. Because normally it's gonna be a rectangle boxes, right? So it's gonna be hard for you to determine where is the engraving area. But with the preview feature, you can see where exactly is your file. So this is a little trick to help you guys to find where exactly is the engraving area. And then once we found the engraving area, and I'm gonna leave the cutting plate right here and leave the coin right here. And then I don't need the circles anymore. I'm gonna delete this, make this visible. And once everything is set up, all the engraving areas, also the size, everything, we're gonna go with File and export as LPB. So that's what we wanted to do when you come to wanna save the file to like a 3D grayscale embossing file. And as you guys can see, it is loading and it's gonna take a couple minutes. So normally it's gonna take like 2 to 3 minutes, but I'm not gonna let you guys wait. So let's say it's finished. So once it's finished, it's gonna pop out a window right here, and it's gonna ask you where you wanna save the file to. So in that case, you can choose to save your file into the flash drive, which is the LaserPecker file, and you can choose to save here. And in this case, you can see all the files we got for your in your flash drive. All right, so like you guys can see, it's all in LPB format, right? So let's say we already save it, and also make sure to pop out your flash drive and unplug your flash drive from PC, then plug in your flash drive on the back of your LP5. And then in this case, I'm gonna use my cell phone. I'm gonna use my phone to show you how to do this with the LP5. So first of all, of course, you wanna disconnect your LP5 from the PC, and then I'm gonna use my cell phone. So I'm gonna connect to the LP5, use Wi-Fi. So now it's connected, as you guys can see. And then I'm gonna go to user area. And then as you guys can see, we do have the USB flash drive files on the left side. I'm gonna click on this one. So let me unplug first, because sometimes the USB isn't working, because we do sometimes have a connection issues with the file, especially when you first connect with the PCs. You wanna refresh again and see if the file's there. So once it's recognized, you guys will see there's some data right in the middle of this. So let me unplug the USB, and then let me reconnect the units one more time. So I want to connect this to the LP5, and I want to plug in the file in the back side. And gonna go with flash drive. There we go. Here we see all the files we got. We got 5 files in the flash drive, and you guys can see we do have the Easter bunny on the last one. So as you guys can see, we do have 2 different features here. The first one is gonna be the eye icon, and the second feature is gonna be start engraving process. So I'm gonna click on the first one, which is the eye icon. And in this case, you will still see it's a previewing right here. So click on the eye icon and you will see it's previewing. But in this case, it's gonna be in the rectangle, because we do not have the outline preview features on the cell phone. And also, I mean, we do have the outline preview on the cell phone, on the software, but when you use the flash drive trying to engrave, it is previewing in typical way, which is the rectangles format. So that's why we have to set up the engraving area and place the material on the top to adjust all the engraving settings. Now it's previewing, and then I'm gonna hit next and just hit start to start the engraving process. And whenever you're trying to do 3D grayscale embossing with, let's say, slab coasters or like brass coins, I recommend you guys to have a little fan on the side and blow on the top of the surface, because during the engraving process, you're gonna have some dust, especially when you're trying to engrave on those slab coasters, right? And in that way, you have a clear results on the surface. So let me show you guys how it looks like for some of these samples. So for this one, if you guys can see it, for this one, this is the Easter bunny. We use the LP5 to do the 3D grayscale embossing on the Slate coasters, right? And also we have, this one is just your typical engraving, but this one is 3D grayscale embossing. And then I want to show y'all some of these. So these are 3D grayscale embossing or brass coins. If you guys can see it, let me turn it around. Oops, there we go. So you can have different kinds of 3D grayscale embossing effect on different kind of materials. This one is the Slate coasters, and this one is the brass coin. All right, so those are some examples about how you can use the USB flash drive to do the 3D grayscale embossing on the LP5. So that's pretty much it. And we're gonna have the last round of the lucky draw before we wrap this up. So for the last round of the lucky draw, for the third round of lucky draw, we're gonna have one winner to receive the Rotary extension, and the value of this accessory is around $400. And we're gonna have one winner to receive that. So before you guys, before we start, we're gonna have the rules. Make sure you subscribe, and also if you draw, please save the chance to others. And for the last rule is, once I announce the keyword, please type in the keyword in the chat, and we're gonna have one winner for this round of the lucky draw. And the keyword of this round of lucky draw is gonna be LP2025. So please type in LP2025 in the chat, and we'll see who's the winner in the last round of the lucky draw. How do we know what resolution to use for the depth mask? How many pixels, 2K, etc.? All right, I think you already got your answer for your questions. And after the last round of the lucky draw, guys, we're gonna have the Q&A sessions. So if you still have questions about the 3D grayscale embossing, different machines, you can go ahead and start prepare with your questions, guys. So in 10 more seconds, I'm gonna start with the last round of the lucky draw. LP2025. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel first, guys. And also, if you guys haven't joined the Facebook group, we do have different kinds of projects and also tutorials on Facebook group as well. And I also personally, I joined the LP4 and LP5 Facebook. And I think it's from last week, I posted a post about like color engraving. I think some of y'all have seen. And also at this point, we're still trying to put together a color engraving tutorial for you guys. So if you do interested, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and also join Facebook group, because we do have all the updates, infos in those platforms. And also we do have different kind of social media platforms as well. We got Instagram, we got TikTok, we got all kinds of stuff. And the links, all the links is gonna be in the description box. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So let's see who's the grand winner of today's live to win the. So congratulations on Noob Squad. Please contact us at services@laserpecker.com to claim your Rotary extensions, and one of colleagues will get back to you. So I want to say congrats on all the winners from today's live. Go ahead and contact us and claim your prize, and one of colleagues will get back to you. All right. So congratulations on Noob. All right, that's all the main content of today's live stream. So if you guys do have questions, now we're gonna start with the Q&A session, guys. So if you do have questions about the sale, the price, machines, now is the time to shoot your questions. What fan do you use in the safety enclosure? You mean the fan that come with I mean, you mean the fan equipped with the safety enclosure, or can you elaborate on your questions? I see from Hook definitely interested in the metal color engraving, especially the setup and graphic. Of course, we're gonna have the whole process from 0 to 1. How you set up and also the graphic, how you do the graphic, those kind of stuff. We're gonna put everything in one video. Does coin smell when you engrave? A little bit, actually, yeah, the brass coin definitely has some smell to it. And most importantly, it's gonna have some dust in the air. So make sure you're gonna have a window open, or you use the external pipe and also use with like, for example, air purifier. So make sure you stay, your environment is safe. So because it's gonna have some smell and some dust in the air. For the 3D embossing, what fan do you use? So I normally use those like a little fan. It's not like a big one you use in the house, right? Like you can actually handheld like a little one. So I just set it right cross with the cutting plate. I set it right here, like pretty much like this big, and blow on the top of the material all the time until it's finished. All right, so do you provide a cheat sheet for suggested settings for materials and which laser type, like a poster? We do have, it's not a cheat sheet, we have the files and all the settings on our website. So if you go to our website, I think it's under the support centers, you will see we do have some suggest settings for different kind of material, and also like what kind of laser source you use, all the settings, how many passes, those kind of stuff, and also for different kind of machine as well. So you can find it on our website. I think you can find it in the support center sections. The camera with the, the enclosure with the camera is available now. Any sales price? I think you can see the enclosure. It is. We actually launched the safety enclosure around like 3 weeks ago. So you can see it on our website, I guess. Comes with a price and everything. Does LP4 do acrylic cuts? LP4, I think so, yeah. I think we can use LP4 cut acrylics. Can we use LP4 to cut acrylics? Yes, right? Wood? All right, so we can use LP5 to cut acrylic, but as long as it's not transparent, it has to have some colors. For example, red, black or blue, it has to have some colors, and then you can use the LP4 to cut through the acrylic. I made a cheat sheet when I bought my first LP, so you made your own cheat sheet. That's good. Is the enclosure's fan enough for keep it clean? Yes, exactly. Yes, it is. But in a best scenario is you use with the air purifier. That's the best scenario. But you can also use the external pipe to leave the pipe outside of the window. So that's the way you can keep yourself clean. And also you can use the safety enclosure to do the 3D grayscale embossing as well. So if you guys don't have any questions, I think that would be it for today's live. I got one more question from Andy. I tried a 3D emboss on Slate, and it came out not good with lots of small pits in. What did I do wrong? I got settings from an LP video. So you do on Slate. So once you're finished with the 3D grayscale embossing, you can actually use, so for ourselves, we use a brush or the brush to brush around the surface. So sometimes when it first came out, it's gonna have some dust or it's kind of dark, especially when you do the coins. So sometimes we'll use the brush to brush around the surface, and also you can also like go low with settings, like go low with power, and also go low with the depths, and let it engrave a couple more times. So in that way, it's gonna remove some of the stain and also the rust from the surface. And also, if you guys do have any more questions, please join the LP5 and LP4 Facebook group chat. And I'm one of those administrators. You can send me some message, just send me a DM, or you can contact the other administrators as well. And we're gonna get back to you and answer your questions one by one. All right. That's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it for the content for today's live. So I want to thank each one of y'all to join today's live. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and all the links to other social media platforms is going to be in the description box. And if you do want to invest one of your LP machine, don't forget to take advantage of the Easter sale, because in from 2 to 3 days later, it's going to be over for the Easter sale. So don't forget to check out our website, and the link is going to be in the description box. All right. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Hack, to join today's live. Thank you, each one of y'all. And as always, my name's Rex, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.